All right, PKN episode 148. I have a first topic in mind.
Oh, you
So,
always do when you get it started that quick.
I, all right. This is sort of an "Am I the asshole" type thing here, and I'm doing it on PKN because I'm a little concerned I might be the asshole. So let me lay out how my day started. It started off great. I went paramotoring, did something that I don't usually do, and then I flew to this restaurant, met a friend who also flew there. Like we flew together, we ate breakfast, and we flew back. It's kind of neat to have like a little paramotor adventure. As I'm landing, the concrete people are there. I did not realize they were coming. Jackie didn't know they were coming, although she got an email. It's just not the best way to communicate with her. It's mixed in with all her spam.
The
And
concrete.
Yeah, email is not how you notify concrete delivery.
so that was her only notification. She got an email saying the concrete people would be there, and here's their job. First, when you put a pool in, at least our kind of pool, you put the dirt around it, and then it settles, and there's holes around the pool. So then they put the dirt in again, and then they were going to lay concrete forms, get it inspected, and then have like concrete itself. So I get there, and the road in front of my house, which I should note is my road. When it's broken, I have to repair it, and I own that road. I own the land. It's not like a public street. It's my road. You think of it as part of my driveway. It's damaged. They came in there with their trailer, and they like gouged the fuck out of it. It's in our contract that they are not allowed to use that driveway. They are allowed to use the gravel driveway on the side of their house. And but I guess no one told them or something, so they fucked our road. And then they go and they start unloading their heavy equipment on our driveway. They're supposed to do this on the gravel. It's all worked out. It's in the contract. And it's a skid steer. And they're just like dragging the skid steer, gouging the driveway itself. I'm sorry?
What is a skid steer?
It's I'm sure you've seen it. It's like a short little thing for land. It has a bucket in the front that they pick it up, and you could Google it, but it's
Might call it a bobcat.
yeah,
Oh,
there
alright,
it is. Yeah, Bobcat makes there's lots of people that make skid steers, but thanks, Kyle. So anyway, they unload their skid steer on our driveway on the asphalt, and they like gouge it and scrape it the fuck up. And what's interesting to me is like the scrapes are like, not that it's a big deal. Our driveway needs repair, you know. So the fact that they scraped
It does now.
but it's not that it has scrapes on it. It's the fact that the scrapes are like 12, 16 feet long. Like how much of a not fuck did you give when you did like a 16-foot long scrape across my driveway?
Yeah,
It's
'cause
not.
you know they didn't like only hear it at the end.
Yeah, yeah, right. So, so that's like my introduction to these guys, and I go around back, and I'm real cool. I'm like, hey, is there anything you need? Any questions you have? You know, I'm gonna go shower up. You know, if you need anything, you know, let me know. They're like, nope, everything's going great. I go inside, and the internet's been out. Right? There's a fiber optic line across. We have marked it with flags and painted this line fluorescent orange so that no one would like accidentally yank it or not know. And it is yanked the fuck out of the wall. And the box that it goes into is also like dangling from the wall. And so I'm fuming mad. And here's the "Am I the asshole?" I'm like, you guys yanked this out of the fucking wall? You can't pull this fucking wire. So in my head, my whole world is collapsing, right? Like I've got this show to do tonight, which is important to me, right? This is a big deal. I've got my mother-in-law's in the other room. She's just in that room, like recovering from chemotherapy, fighting cancer, watching TV on Netflix all day long. That's what she does. So now she's in there in like a little prison. Well, now the internet's back, and then you have my wife and daughter who use it like normal people, and my son, although he is sometimes like. He's autistic, right? So sometimes he doesn't respond to situations like this really well. And I'll just like, I'm so mad that like in my head, these fucking monkeys grabbed the cords by their hands and yanked it out of the wall. Now they might have snagged it with equipment and not noticed the bright orange flags or the fluorescent orange paint on the wire, but more likely they gave no fucks, as evidenced by the driveway.
Is it possible that at this time they are very aware of the fluorescent paint and the flags?
I would guess, yeah, that at this point, I might have brought it up, that it was painted fluorescent orange and that we marked it with flags.
Was there a lot of gesturing?
and holding a wire. There's a black wire with like little
a
sprigs
flag.
of things. Right? And I'm like, what the like lots of hand motions. I turned Italian in this thing. And I'm like, the fuck? You can't do right? And I'm on the phone with AT&T and the guy's looking at me through the window and I give him like one of the like how the fuck. So the concrete guys packed up their shit and left, right? One of the guys was younger. I'm going to call him like 21 or something. And apparently, he was in tears from my tirade. Right? Jackie saw him and said little
What
Julio.
did that girl man cry today?
She said that.
Who relayed to you that this gentleman was crying?
So you have the concrete people. They are subcontractors for the pool people. There's the pool guy, Josh, who is very good. You know, he's always on top of everything, and he helped us like figure out where the concrete should go. He has an eye for design and stuff like that. We like Josh, but Josh was not on site, and that would have helped a lot. Also, the concrete guys have like a foreman, and he was not on site either. Both of them were like, they arrived 30, 40 minutes after the laborers did, who had fucked up at least 3 things in 30 or 40 minutes. And so a little ding on anyone in charge to let these...
I'm a big like whenever I hear them do these things, like it makes me so mad that like my immediate mindset is like, well, they should probably be communicating through my lawyer at this point, and they're going to meet that contract 100%, or we will be in court. That driveway is going to be fucking fixed. I don't care if I have to take pictures and show them in court and document
Pictures
and point
have
at
been
them that
taken.
driveway is
Yeah.
going to be fixed.
So
like, the way you were leading into it, like, because anytime someone has like an "Am I the asshole?" story, and they're like, "Well, I think I might kind of be the asshole here," I was like, "Oh, I'm like 85% sure Woody's going to be the asshole here." And the more you've said, the more I do not think you're the asshole. Like this was, if I'm understanding correctly, this was elucidated in the contract. It was described as you will take this road, not this, not our concrete, pathway, not our driveway.
Right.
Like that's inexcusable. Like that was the one thing they were supposed to do, right? Is, hey, when you pull in, just come this way, right?
Uh-huh.
And they must have been like, oh, I can't be bothered to look at line 1. If you had asked them for only brown M&Ms, you would not have gotten that.
No.
They would have brought fucking Skittles.
So I mean, I did curse at the people. I did curse, and they're like, "Oh, they're not accustomed to talking." Really? These fuckers aren't accustomed to being talked to at all. They don't speak English. One guy on site actually spoke English, and that was Baby Julio. And
It looks a little nice for the driveway.
So you're telling me that the only man in the crowd, who could actually understand what you were saying was brought to tears?
the thing is, that's a lie, because like he was standing in the driveway when she took Colin to parkour camp. So she came back and she's like, he wouldn't even move out of the way. She's like, I don't know what I was supposed to do, drive on my grass. And she's like, he wasn't welling up with tears. There was no, like, he wasn't upset. He was being a dick
Hadn't
still.
sunk in yet.
Yeah.
It hadn't sunk in yet. It was
And
like PTSD.
So
There was
then
a
they
delayed
backed
effect.
off. They're like, well, there weren't really tears streaming, but he looked upset. And I'm like,
Howdy.
whatever. Like
Like, I'd be like, well, stop hiring pussies for your construction
I
job.
think I might have
Let's
used that
just-
word when I talked to John. I might have said, sounds like he was a pussy. So,
Yeah.
I guess that I think I've laid it out pretty evenly and honestly. Those are the things they did. My response had gestures and lots of, you can't pull this fucking wire.
Men knock their thumbnails off and fucking shoot themselves with nail guns. You wrap that shit up and drive yourself to the hospital. There is no crime, and those people, they come back. I haven't worked a ton of construction jobs, but I've done a lot of minor ones and like roofing and stuff, and like hired 15 laborers once and 3 laborers once, and then my dad's got a friend who's a contractor, and I've been to his job sites and I've seen what goes on, and my dad's been like, look at that guy. Look at that guy work, because they'll be up there like these white men who are completely shirtless, but they're bronze from the sun, and they're swinging that fucking hammer as hard as they can. There's no like tap, tap, tap to get the nail started. They start with wow. Like
They've got the talent.
Yeah, and they don't. They're men.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's a over there putting in some concrete and he's probably trying to tap into the internet or something. That's what he was doing.
Just
And
siphon internet.
so
That's what because that's what they always do. They're always like, oh, you brought him to tears. It's PTSD. I'd have been like, well, you know what? I think maybe he did it on purpose. I think maybe he was trying to get some pornography out of the wall or something. Like,
So-
just take it to your own weird level.
And also, it's hard to judge the work they were doing aside from all the damage they were creating because they weren't done, right? But I'm looking at, they were supposed to like pack in the dirt next to the pool, and it's poorly packed in. There's air spaces and whatnot. I don't know if it was going to get better, but the work they've done thus far is shit. So that's a thing. Anyway, they left the job site, and Josh was like, I think we could have gotten them to come back had we just, if Josh had like smoothed it over and said, hey guys, come on back. We need this to get done. But he's like, he decided that wasn't the right course of action. Instead, they're going to like try to switch people on jobs and get it.
Yeah.
Because they work with a couple subcontractors.
Use a different concrete company.
Yeah. So we're going to get a different subcontractor to work on it.
That sounds awful.
I'm sure it'll delay the pool in the end, but fuck it. Like, I don't think I wanted them doing it, and I certainly didn't like the way they were headed. Am I the asshole?
No,
you're not the asshole.
The asshole
really?
I don't know in this situation.
I don't know.
Like, I'm not imagining when you said the guy was crying. I didn't believe that for a second. Like, there's nothing to gain as a man by crying,
no.
And so it's hard for me to imagine men doing it. Like, I can't imagine a situation where I'd be like, if I cry here, it'll get me out of it. Like, no, it'd just be like, if I cry here, I'll look like a bitch and get mocked in addition to losing whatever encounter I'm currently losing. Like, no, I just. There's no reason for it. And if it said it in the contract, it's like they should have to go back and fix that. I can't imagine that it's like a ton of work for a laborer crew to quickly fix your driveway, but
I don't know
they
how
should
to
have
fix
to do
asphalt,
that.
but yeah, I agree. They need to handle that or hire someone to handle it.
Did they scrape asphalt? Is that what they did?
Yeah,
the way that I would fix it to my standards, you're gonna have to go back out there and spray that bitch with tar. You have to retar that thing.
I get like I actually Googled it and but I didn't go long because I was on my phone, and that's one way to repair it. There's another way of troweling it. I don't know the best way to repair it, but they should do something because otherwise it's just going to get wet and freeze and open, and that'll be where the first pothole forms. Yeah. So yeah, they need to handle that. And I think the way that it went so bad is they had a trailer with the flat tire, gave no fucks about the fact that the trailer had a flat, and just drug shit along the ground.
What a great crew.
Yeah.
That wasn't the A-team.
No. That last part's not confirmed, but I heard...
maybe it was, and somewhere else, like one of those Ugandan Toyota war trucks just barreled up someone's
That's what I drive.
And 3 drunken Mexicans fell out the side of it, and we're like, "Is this the right house?" No, somewhere else that happened.
There was
maybe
one thing. Josh was like, "They're just not used to being spoken to that way," and I'm like, "Really?" No, I don't mean to be like a total ass that like doesn't treat laborers like full-fledged people or something, but I just find it hard to believe that in the construction industry people bite their tongues as much as he says.
I am accustomed to a much more gruff, no political correctness kind of like this is a manly work area kind of thing. This is very much like a locker room or a sports team on the field at the same time. When you fuck up, there's scolding. I've seen laborers get scolded many times.
There's accountability.
There's accountability. But I've seen a lot of laborers get scolded. I've seen my dad do it. He screams at them in their face. He lets them know. He holds the thing. Look at this thing. This thing isn't supposed to be like this. You did this. You've been warned. This is the 3rd time. You're costing me fucking money. Last chance, Julio or Bob or whatever.
I remember as a little kid, like sometimes being upstairs because my parents were always having like renovations and like, you're upstairs in your room doing what homework. And I'd hear like screaming from the kitchen or wherever downstairs. And I'd be like, oh no, mom and dad are fighting. And then I'd hear like the other side of the voice being like, well, how do you expect me to get the supplies I need when you're not fronting me the money needed for this quality of tile? And I'm like, oh, thank God. It's just the contractor. It's just the contractor being a cunt. It'll blow over. But that was like something, you're right. Like I heard my dad and that guy yelled, and my mom and that guy yelled at each other repeatedly. Because that's kind of what you need to do. It seems like you just get taken advantage of if you don't. Because they just will play the, I'm just trying to keep... They do the Jerry Seinfeld routine where it's like, I'm just trying to keep as many options open for you as possible. It's like, no, you're not. You're trying to avoid making any kind of decisions. I hired you as an expert, and now you're not being an expert. You're being a professional question asker. Like if I hire an accountant to do my taxes and they go, you think you should file this part? I'm going to go, are you fucking kidding me? No, you better tell me how to file this part.
I think we get a deference here. What do you think? I'm not really...
That's why you're here. Yeah, I don't go behind the counter at Subway and become my own sandwich artist. I go there for a reason,
And if I was, there'd be more turkey on that bitch. But
You're absolutely right about the professional question asker thing. I despise that in any kind of a professional. You get it most often and most readily at like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, though. Like you go in there and you're like looking at nail guns, and the guy walks by and he's like, "Hey, can I help you with anything?" I want to be like, "I don't know, can you?" Like, do you know more than the name brands? I want to rattle off like, well, I need this, and that. Do you know the exact one, or are you going to have to start looking at labels now? Because that's what I'm doing, and I can read just fine.
You know where I get it a lot? In design. Like I'll say like, all right,
yeah.
I'm WoodysGamertag. I make Call of Duty videos. I need like a logo that represents me, and I need an intro, and usually it was kids. Like if it was a kid, they'd be like, all right, okay. So what color do you want it to be, and what do you want it to look like, and what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know. And the more input I give you, the worse it'll get. If I was any good at this at all, I'd do it. you know.
Yeah, what you're asking me to do.
The creativity part. It's making something from nothing. It's like that is your part, asshole.
Yeah.
That's you.
You make a camel is what you end up doing. It's like if you have a big group of people in a boardroom or something, and you're making a decision about what direction you're going to go and marketing or whatever the fuck, and instead of like having a cohesive idea, you let everybody be like, I vote this. Oh, I like it. One aspect of that. I also want to add my 2 cents. And by the end, you're like, oh, this is awful because we pretended that everybody's opinion mattered.
That's the cliche, right? A camel is a horse designed by committee. You know, and they all put in their own little 2 cents, and you get something that doesn't fit together.
Yeah, and you get a shitty horse.
I had the opposite experience. I was having the WoodyCraft website made, and the store in particular had a challenge in that, like when we sold a rank, WoodyCraft had, I don't know, like 9 or 11 different game types. And every time you bought a rank, you got all the things of the rank before it. And, you know, it had all the things ranked before it, and there were like 9 total. So each rank, you got like, I don't know, 150 things. So you get 9 things, and there's like 1,000 things you get. And I'm like, how do we present all this information to people? Like, people don't even know what they're buying. They figure it out slowly while they play here. You know, and this guy came up with this brilliant, like, tab system with scroll boxes. And anyway, he did great. I would hire him.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Well, but you wouldn't hire those concrete men again.
No, fuck those guys. No. And fuck them for making me feel bad. You know, poor Julio's in tears. Bullshit.
Children.
My wife saw him. He wasn't in tears. He was kind of being rude. And
I feel even less. Is it racist that I feel even less bad because at first I pictured like a white kid with blonde hair, but now that I know that it was a Mexican guy, I'm like, he should definitely be hardened to a little screaming and cursing, like, right? Like,
do you think he went home that night, or he's going home tonight, and his wife's like, "Oh, Pablo, how are you today? Good day at work?" He's like, I'm never been more thankful to not fully understand the language here. I could only see the tears welling in the eyes of Jacob, my good work friend, as this savage in a massive house, Escobar level dealer. That's why I say, of course, I say nothing because this is a powerful man. He flies. You think we have run of the place? Just not use the side door. No, he flies in. He knows.
I did fly in.
That's what Topo and State Pop are saying tonight.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I'm glad they're not working on the pool. I'm not glad the pool's going to get delayed by some amount of time. But
so, I watched. I hope it does work out, and I hope you sue them and make them fix your driveway, because whenever someone fucks people over like that, I feel like someone should sue them. There should be more lawsuits, not fewer of them, because more people need to be held accountable.
Go Trump.
So I was trolling the internet last night. By that I mean, I don't mean fucking with people. I mean, casting my net and seeing what I pulled back. And I found some videos that I knew immediately Woody would hate, because he's mentioned before he hates them. But it's those porn videos where the chicks are sad. And
yeah, they're not my cup of tea.
This guy trolling wannabe porn stars, just being really mean to them, and like, I'm a human being. I'm not a complete monster or anything. So half of me, every time he says something, is like, "Oh, that's fucked, man." But then the other half is so tickled that I'm just laughing my fucking it's such a sweet and sour kind of thing, you know. It's both at the same
it's
time.
like the casting couch thing, or is this like a guy just going on live streams and just ripping
Couch.
on people?
They've come to him, and this is legit. He like, this black chick's there, and she's got this huge gaps in her teeth. He's like, I'm guessing you're from some country part of Louisiana then, huh? She's like, yeah. He's like, you know how I can tell? She's like, how? He's like, smile. And she smiles, and it's a huge fucking thing. And he's like fucking her mouth at one point, and he like spreads her lips all crazy, and he goes, look, it's the predator. and she starts laughing with it, so it was okay. But another time, like he does it to like 8 chicks in succession, and like some of them cry, and some of them are like get real sad and teary-eyed, and like you tell he hurts their feelings real
he
bad.
He says that tooth or no tooth. I mean, gap or no gap.
Oh, he says different stuff that's always true.
Oh, God.
It's the ugliest titties I've ever seen. How do you get pimples on your titties? That's the most unflattering thing I've ever seen in my life. You look like you're wearing a fucking diaper right now. But then every now and then, he's not just complete monster, because like he'll be like, all right, I'm going to admit, that's a nice fucking ass you got there. That's real nice. But the rest of you just goddamn busted. Just fucking busted. It's so mean. That there's a I don't know how to, it's like I think I described it well by saying sweet and sour. Go to it's on eFukt.
Of course it is.
EFUKT.com.
eFukt is not even like a
It's
porn
not,
site that you go to be like, oh, I'm gonna go masturbate to porn. No, you go to eFukt just to find like crazy shit, like a lot of it's animal related, isn't it? Like killing animals, or am I thinking of something different?
Whenever I see, like, the only place where I see killing of animals is like 4chan, and like if I see that that's in the thumbnail, I keep on scrolling. If I'm on looking for funny things, you're
looking for the pre-suicide tapes. Or I assume that's what the name of the show you're watching is. Like, that is sad though, because like, I'm not a woman, and so I don't understand it, but I feel like if you're like in deep enough that you're sucking a guy's dick and you get roasted with something, to then leave would be an admission that I got taken advantage of. I sucked a guy's dick for a while and then I got made fun of. But if you stay and you laugh about it, or you just play it off or whatever, it's more like, oh no, that's just kind of my cup of tea. I like being called a big-toothed whore. I like them saying that it looks like my tongue's in jail. My teeth are so fucked up. Like,
oh God.
There were none of these chicks who I thought were like, I bet she got a chuckle out of that experience. No. Like, that didn't happen. Like, she didn't walk out of there waddling with the cum taste in her mouth like, I had a fun time and he had a good sense of humor. I'm going to call him later even if I don't get the job. They're like, oh, this was life-shattering. I'm just telling you. This is life-shattering. The act of watching this, for some reason, tickles my funny bone in a weird way. It's like I said, it's like this sweet and sour thing where at the exact same time, simultaneously, and at the same ratio, it's horrible and terrible, but just fucking hilarious, because he's pretty good at roasting them. He's pretty good at it.
I already know I could not watch that video because I get so visceral. I get stomach aches when I see like stuff that awkward. Like when people intentionally make it super uncomfortable. And I would be watching it trying to like feel for the girl a little bit and being like, oh, like I'm watching this naked girl suck a dick. I'm not even getting anything out of it other than being like, oh, I'm sorry that I got duped into this.
There's not a lot of dick sucking. There's like a pre-interview where they're sitting on the couch and then they get naked a little and then he comments on their body. And then there is like a blowjob at the end, I think, but you just see bits and pieces of that because it's mostly about like the initial trolling. And the making fun of them. He's
like, all of these girls having sex or blowing? Like they're all, none of them.
They're all
like,
porn.
But none of them like get to the interview phase and say, you know what, you are an unkind sir. I'm out of here.
No, that doesn't happen. He's like, where the fuck you, Dunkin' Donuts? God damn. It's just like stuff like that the whole time, calling them fat and ugly and making fun of everything about them. It's horrible. I'm fully admitting that, but. I'm talking about the effect it has on me on a deep level, where the horribleness combines with the funniness, and it's a weird kind of experience. I watched 3 of them and then I turned it off. There were like 8 of them to watch. I stopped short of that.
Yeah, I wanted to only save some for later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what do I do tonight?
Who eats all their Easter candy on the first day?
Exactly. Yeah. You don't binge the entire House of Cards season in one sitting. You leave the mean, horrible, last 5 episodes for something else.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
I'm gonna not look into that. Take a look.
Yeah, I'm with Taylor on that one. Taylor,
It seems sad. What's up?
are you still doing the workout thing? How's it going?
Oh yeah,
Status
sticking
update?
to it.
Mhm.
Good.
But you're
been
not
working
weighing
out
yourself that
really
much. You're mostly
I
just
weighed
using...
myself on Sunday. I
Mhm.
weigh 20 or I'm gonna say 206 again because it was like 205 and a
Mhm.
half or something like that. And so I'm just saying 206 again.
Oh, I don't count
but-
decimals. I go the other way.
I know. And I can tell though in the mirror, like I'm continuing to like move mass northward.
Mhm.
It seems like getting it away from the stomach, and so
Defy
like
gravity.
like slapping areas on my body, which has actually become a pretty it's a useful tool because as Arnold Schwarzenegger says, if it jiggles, it's fat. And so
Yeah.
I like slapping myself now doesn't jiggle nearly as much as it did, a month ago, 6 weeks ago. I guess now I'm on week 10. Week 10 of working out, and I'm sticking to it. All my clothes are fitting so much, or like my shirts are
Mhm.
fitting way better.
I had to buy
Um,
some clothes.
I've had to go get like some larger sizes. That's partially because European sizes, like I've never been to Europe, but you fuckers can't be as small as your clothing is suggestion. Like this is like a double XL right here. A double XL. Like no,
yeah, that
it's
thing barely
not.
gets around your arm.
You'd be the biggest Frenchman in existence. Just keep that in mind, Taylor.
Yeah, this is a French shirt, I suppose. Yeah.
I got on the scale this morning completely naked to get a perfect reading. I was 173. So I've lost a significant amount of weight, I guess. Like, you
Damn.
can't all be water weight, right? I feel like my face is a lot thinner. My love
At this
handles are
point,
gone. My pants don't fit anymore. I went to some old pants today. I dug those out, and they were still too tight because they're like they're below a 30, or they're like a 30 maybe, but they've shrunk or something, or they're just a real homosexual cut of jean, Like I've got different. I don't always just get
Got
boot
different
cut
ones?
jeans. I've got narrow leg jeans, and I don't have like those really tight emo jeans, but I do have jeans that at this point on me, after being washed over the years, will fit that way, and those aren't gonna fit. But I feel
So
pretty
what
good.
are you? So you're feeling like you look good now. What's the step from here? Because you don't go much lower than like 173 or so. Because
I
you're
can't-
seeing as how you're tall, you'll start to feel like get lanky.
Yeah, I can't lose too much more weight. That's getting a little silly. Should probably add a little muscle on. I'm gonna start working out more. I've been lifting or running or doing something about 3-4 days a week. Sometimes it'll be a 5-day week, but I guess I should start lifting, and maybe try to add a little muscle. But I'm having fun regardless. Whatever.
I've been doing pretty good. I lost another pound since Thursday. It's Tuesday now. But I'm 207 low, so I'm hoping I get a 206 something by PKA and I can report a 2-pound week. We'll see. Things are fitting better. Shirts are, like you say, the shirt fits better. My shirt hangs better. There's more in the chest and it doesn't touch the belly. I like my shirt to be loose in front of the belly, and that's the thing that didn't really happen. I'm down 13 pounds total, and they're fitting better. Shorts are
Right.
It's good. It's good. I never miss a kettlebell workout. I find those to be just like not easy. They're hard work, but convenient. Whereas, like to go outside and do cardio or something is a whole routine and typically unpleasant. And I've been slacking somewhat on that, but mostly because there's like, I don't know, we spread 20 pounds of mulch, 20 cubic yards, or we mow that day, and I had to like fix the mower, and that was like I don't know, something around the house has been brutal, so I don't really do actual cardio. I just whatever, do yard work or something. And but I never miss a kettlebell. I'm getting good at that. I've increased both the amount of stuff I do and the weight I do it with, so that's nice. So yeah, chipping away. I want to lose a lot of weight. Sometimes it's eye opening how much. Like I'm down 13 pounds and not halfway. So that's a lot of pounds. I let myself get into quite a state, but
Yes.
but that's
We've
where
all
I
done
am.
it. Well, not
I got my medium shirt on today. I actually ordered a few medium shirts. That's always a real. I remember Kelly on The Office. She's like, I just ordered a bunch of swimsuits, size 2. I'm gonna look amazing. rising, and she's like starving herself, drinking like nothing but honey and vinegar or something like that. So I ordered like I don't know, $300 worth of Lacoste shirts or something like that, which means I ordered two, and but I ordered them in medium, and they fit, you know.
Nice.
Real happy, real
Yeah,
happy.
a medium
I like
for me
that I can
would
get
look
it
like a woman's bathing suit. Like I was in a one piece.
If I ever try to put on a medium, like it's like just how tight it is, like on the whole torso is just like, oh, this isn't
my
flattering.
rib cage and stuff. But I like that. I feel like it doesn't get so tight that it's like "Ah!" and like it's like unseemly, but it's I don't know, it's like a slim fit.
Here's the
something
change.
like-
So my large shirts used to not be flattering because, like, I don't know, like it'd be like, oh yeah, those are my boobs. That's one of the places in which I gain weight, and that's my belly. That's the other place. You could really see them all in this large.
Yeah.
But an extra large was unflattering in a different way, in that it kind of hung too loose, and you know, like I would feel comfortable in it, like I was hiding everything. But I see myself in a picture, and I think, that's not a good look either. As a matter of fact, it's just hard to find a good look when you're too fat.
Yeah. Nobody looks at Kevin Smith and goes like, "Is he fat? Is he not? I can't tell in that goddamn Edmonton Oilers jersey.
Yeah,
like, what's happening under there?"
Perfect,
Like, no.
perfect. But now the larges fit like much better. Like I feel like, and as I'm getting fitter, my posture's improved, and I feel like that's almost half of the equation. You know, like I just stand a little prouder and a little better, and. So yes, definitely made progress. Definitely have work to do.
I almost bought one of those neck traction things off of Amazon
What is
last
that?
night. So this thing like
I
it looks
know
like
what
you're
it-
hanging yourself.
Did you learn
goes
about it
right-
from Rogan?
Yeah,
I learned about it from Joe Rogan.
Neck traction thing. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
He was like, yeah, I got this whole thing. I get up against the door, and then I'm like
And
pulling,
then you
a
like
pulley, and I
crank
crank.
it, and it pulls your
And
head
it's like
up.
hanging myself. He's like, and my neck goes click, click, click. And I was like, when I heard him say that, I was like, ooh, I like when my neck goes click, click, click. Like I might have some spinal compression here. Maybe we could like get
Oh
that.
my
Yeah.
Get
God,
that.
this
I
is-
might be
this is
6 foot
stone
without
cold.
proper footwear.
Might be 6'4". Who knows? Let's fucking slip on out, bitch. Like put me
Uh-huh.
on the rack. That's what it takes. You know, Wings would.
No, I think that Joe Rogan's doing this because he's, as we all know,
That's the
suffers
future.
from dwarfism.
Like, sir, weight loss is a thing of the past. Now, stretch people. Come with me. I love to see like an 8-foot tall Wings of Redemption. You just make him proportional.
This can't be that useful.
Oh,
I can't
he
imagine.
found it. He found it.
Yeah, this guy's just, it's basically you put a jock strap on your head, and then you've got a pulley that goes up on your door, and then you pull on the jock strap pulley lever, and it pulls your head upward. Like it's a kind of like put your hands on your head and then push up. And
Yep.
look at that. Look at this. You've saved $57. You've saved $57 with this simple hand movement.
I want it. I almost bought it, but I don't remember what turned me off. Oh, I know what it was. I went down the rabbit hole, and there were all these really expensive ones, and there were these that looked like medical devices versus the ones that looked like something your mom would have in her closet versus the ones that look not your mom, Woody. We know she's got some crazy stuff. In
Yeah,
there.
I'm like, I instantly assumed they were toys for the bedroom.
I meant like
You know,
I
the
don't know.
things
some
moms have in closets.
vacuum cleaner from the 80s, like
Okay.
the plastic dust covers for the couch in the den, like whatever, like weird shit in your mom's closet. But I ended up just not pulling the trigger on it because it went down that rabbit hole of not knowing which one to get. I don't like that. I like when there is when you're into a sport, a hobby, or whatever it is, anything, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the one.
Mhm.
That's what everyone gets. That's the good one. Oh, okay. Well, now not only will I have the good one, but no one will ridicule me. No one will act like because they bought something with an apple on the back, they're smarter than me for some reason.
I don't call it the rabbit hole.
He's like, well,
You almost got him. Yeah.
Well, he does reply to everybody individually whenever we text him. We have a group text, and then Kyle replies to all of us individually, but not the group.
like, phone replies to each of you individually.
You
I'm
need an
not
apple
sure.
on the back of it. But I don't call that the rabbit hole. I call it the purchasing elevator, and I do it all the time. It's like, you know what? I need a speaker. I would like to have like a portable speaker that when I do my kettlebell routine, I could listen to, and also maybe have it be like big and loud enough that you could use it by a pool, right? And to fill an outside
Yeah.
space takes a good speaker. So I start by like, hey, these things not that bad. These things are like $55. Oh, well, this one's actually $200. This one's actually $400. You know, this $800 speaker would be the best one. I'm not spending $800 on a speaker. That's outrageous. It's not even that important to me.
I did it 3 times today.
Up and
I
down.
was
3 times today. What'd you buy?
I was gonna buy a carburetor, we were working
For
on
that black car?
Yeah, it's an Impala, or it's not an Impala. It's a Chevelle. It's a 67 Chevelle, and it's got a 454 cubic inch engine in it, which is very big, and but it's got a shitty carburetor on it. And I was like, we need a nice carburetor. And Dad was like, well, we could do this, we could do that. I was like, I'll take care of the carburetor. And I'm over here, I'm looking at this Holley racing carburetor, and I'm like, don't I need 2 carburetors, really? It's just like, I started off and I could have knocked this thing out for $250, and Dad would have been like, that's a damn nice carburetor. That'll get things done. And now I'm looking at 2 $400 carburetors, like, yeah. Like, I'm basically going SLI on the carburetors.
So do you need to buy a new manifold, an intake manifold to work 2 carburetors? How does that work?
I would have to, I believe. Yeah, I'm not sure. That was the crux. That's where I stopped at. I was like, I was having this thought. I was like, do I need am I gonna need more parts now to even make 2 work? Because I kind of want 2. I'm like, and I just stopped. I'm doing the same thing with the seats of the car. I was gonna buy some seats for it, and I'm like, standard bucket seats, $500, done. Ooh, $750 racing seats. $1,000 set of premium Roush racing seats made for this model. Well, and I just keep finding something better. And then it's like, well, what kind of leather do you want on them? It's like, I didn't even consider leather.
The purchasing elevator. It's like,
What's your?
Yeah.
I'm curious because I know you work on cars all the time with your dad. Is a thing.
Peter, probably
Like-
one. He works on them more than I do. I get over there a day or 2 a week.
How often is like a project finished? Like, is there just like a host of cars out there that are kind of like, oh, I remember building that one. We don't drive it as much as we thought we would, did we? Because we just like pick. Is it like collecting magic cards almost or something? Where like you got a new car and then you finish it, and then by finishing it, you're like, all right, well, you'll be fun to drive someday, but I kind of want to build something else.
Every time what's happened is every time we finished building a car, it's always been meant to be a driver and like, oh yeah, this is my 35 Ford or this is my 55 Chevrolet Bel Air or whatever. And there's always someone who sees it and they want it, and they'll offer a price for it and be like, nah, we really like this thing. And a year will go by and they live in the same community. They'll be like, you sure? I'll give you 22,000, and eventually we just end up selling them all. He had a fixed up a 67 RS Camaro a couple years ago. Same thing happened with it. It was gone right away. Someone wanted it, and
so how does the ownership
makes sense.
work? Because it would maybe I'm a dick or something. I don't. You can tell me. But like, if my father was working on a car, it would be awkward for me to be like, you know what? I'm gonna buy the carb and the intake manifold and the seats just because I like helping out on the car. Like it
yeah, Dad and I have a real fluid situation with money. What's his is mine, and what's mine is his. I don't care. Not at all. And yeah, it's always been that way.
Okay.
I wouldn't even consider caring about $1,000 here or there. There's no. It's like you buy a friend coffee back and forth, but it's a lifetime of that with vehicles and like bigger
On the other
things.
hand, well, no, my father's been generous. As a kid, he used to charge me interest on anything. Like, I want to go to the movies. All right, 11% interest. Not even 10, where the easy math was. No, 11. And he said that was better than the banks would give me, which I don't even know is true. I do know the rates were very high. And I had other friends' parents offering to undercut him. Like, really, 11%? I'll give you 10%. And but as an adult, he helped me in there. So. Yeah, your parents didn't charge you interest?
That is fucking bananas. That he would charge you 11% interest. The fact that it's 11% is even funnier because, like you said, it wasn't even. He couldn't do 10%. He goes, "No, that sounds made up, like you read in a book." 11% interest. If you don't like it, take it to the bank, Matt.
He's an accountant, so he kept all of our like comings and goings, all our financial interactions together on this yellow legal pad, and he'd break out this, like an accountant's calculator. what is it? An adding machine. It's not a calculator. It's an adding machine. And he'd just be like, not even looking at, and then he'd like come arrive at like my payoff number or where I was now because time had elapsed and there's interest and yeah, that was how we did money when I was a kid.
Did he ever drop compounded interest on you?
Of course it was compounded.
Of course. His dad is a fucking loan shark. This reminds I watched Sopranos last night, and Christopher's friend, who's like a writer for NBC, comes in on the poker game. He loses 57 grand to the house. Chris says, all right, I'm going to give you another 3 grand for incidentals. You owe me 60 grand now. It's 2 points a week. Compounding interest if you miss a payment. This is your dad.
Yeah, but I was
never
at least
beat
thinking
me
that
up. I know that episode.
That's 2 Slurpees.
I know that episode, and Chris really fucked that guy up for not paying on time. It made him make sure he knew. My father did not do that. No. And as I think about it, really, if my father needed me to get an ass kicking, wouldn't he contract my mother to do that? Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I feel like you were watching mob movies growing up, and like those scenes were happening. Like, I promise I'll be good next week. You know, I'll do it for you, Paulie. I promise. And you were like watching it, like, well, did Saul not realize that today was Tuesday and the money's due? What do you think? You think he's just gonna forget about it? Someone's dad didn't care. You know?
Well, in his defense, like I learned the value of a dollar. You know, I didn't think Slurpees were free or movies or what have you.
Oh, but I mean, talking about the carburetor thing, like, I mean, if I ask for the car, he'll give me the car. You know, the ownership of the car is fluid. You know, I mean, it's my car as much as it's his car. It's everything that each of us own. I think we feel that the same way about, and I like it that way. Like I don't have anything that's not his. He doesn't have anything that's not mine. I don't know why we would. Like nobody's ever gonna. I mean, like it's my father, right? Like nobody would ever come between us. He would never do me wrong.
Kyle married his dad.
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly. I've entered into legal contracts with him before, so he could look after me. You know, you might as well. You know, no one I would trust more. He would never do anything. He'd kill himself if it would benefit me. You know, he would never put himself ahead of me for anything ever. So, you know, that's the guy you trust.
Yeah, and I remember
certainly a guy that you don't care about. You know, if you want a $1,000 carburetor, Dad, here's one. You know, because like if my truck breaks down, he's the first one to be like, oh, we'll just bring it over here, and I'll spend the next 2 weekends fixing it for you, and just pay for the parts.
Yeah, cool. That is a good relationship to have. It's neat that you have that with your dad. Seems like you guys are really kind of in a best friend scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've always been more like brothers or something like that than anything.
Hope graduated high school. I don't think we've done a show since then. But so she was the speaker. She did awesome. Turns out there were 4 speakers, and she was the best. The principal was also really good too. Although opinions in my family were all hot and cold on that. I thought he was good. But yeah, it was cool.
Strong opinions about the principals.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're all like into who was the greatest speaker because I guess Hope is into it, and. She had all these like tassels and stuff. Like her robes are really decorated, and you know, I never said anything, but I thought a lot. Like as I watched the kids come by, I'm like, ooh, that kid excelled in high school. That kid excelled in high school. My kid excelled. That kid did not do. That kid looked like me on graduation day with no decorations whatsoever on the gown. And,
did you see any? Were there any pregnant kids?
No, not that I could see. I don't remember any pregnant kids. There was no cheering, and here's the thing. Tell me where you stand on this.
I don't think there should be cheering, not individually.
Their stance on it was like, hey, this is the kids' moment. Don't cheer up in the stands. And they were right. Every time someone broke that rule, we'd turn around and we'd look at the people cheering and ignore the guy on stage. I had a secondary thought, though. Like, on one hand, those people are trying to be the most supportive, you know, fan club in the building by cheering. Some of them had signs with their kids' faces printed on them on a stick.
Jesus.
That's all about them. That's all about them.
Here's where I thought, dude, if graduating high school is that momentous an achievement for you guys, then that tells me something. You know, this should be like graduating 7th grade. You know, like this is not the high point of your life. Getting this piece of paper, a high school diploma, should not be an accomplishment that you're like, dude, like, look at me. No, man, this is a baseline accomplishment, something that you.
Oh,
just
that's a
get,
good one. I like that. I got my polio vaccine here. What do you think of that?
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not gonna get polio.
It's like the certificate that says I have completed the objectively easiest part of life. The part where you don't have really any responsibilities. Like, it's not like work where if you show up and they're like, hey, did you prepare that presentation or whatever the fuck we needed you to do? And you go, no, overslept, missed it. What if I do it tomorrow? Can I get it for only 10% off? And they're like, no, you're fucking fired. like no, that's
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But what about this diploma?
Ishtar did your work for you.
Yeah, Ishtar came over here, knocked it out, and now we decided that Ishtar can actually run your department.
And he brought me this delicious curry.
If your family's going bonkers and they're really that proud of finishing high school, that to me implies that they don't have higher expectations.
It's more than that to me, because like I definitely graduated from a shittier high school than you did, like 1,000%. And I could just see those white trash hillbillies up there, like mamas with her big belly with that sign, and it's just like, this is about mama and her big belly right now. She's screaming, so we'll all look at her. She's like, ah, go Andre, yeah. And I'm just like,
so hard to listen to.
That's exactly how it goes, though, right? Like it's some big-bellied, bleached-haired, blonde lady up there who's like 180 pounds overweight. And she's got a billboard that's got misspellings in it. It's like, you came to a high school graduation. You would think you could get this laureate over here to help you out with the word "there." You know, there's 3 different. Like, come on, like, figure it out. I remember telling my parents, like, not a peep, and my mom's like, of course not a peep. And I'm like, same team. Keep your eye on dad. Don't even let him clap too loud. Like let's just tamp this down.
I gave Hope a subtle golf clap. I had a thing.
But what your thing was, maybe it'll lead back into it, but you were saying like the cheering thing. Like, if you have a class, unless you're graduating from a school that has like 60 people in every grade, if you cheer after every person, like, you're willfully making that entire, kit and caboodle an hour longer, at least. If there's hundreds of kids and everyone has to deal with 3 seconds of clapping and nonsense, and then 10 seconds for all the kids with parents who are just raucous and assholes, like, that's you're doubling the length of it.
And it's not fair to the kids who don't have.
Like, Aaron Anderson, his poor family has to sit there the entire time as they're like, oh my god, I hate this so much. Like, why can't we change our last name to Zimmerman so we can just show up late or whatever it is? Like, I don't know. That pissed me off in high school during graduation as well. It was like, you're all of you know that none of the students and none of the other parents for the most part want to be here. They want to get this done so they can go have their like family dinner where they have the real celebration of like, oh, we're so proud of you, and like little conversation and everything. Like, you're just being an asshole. I don't know. It pissed me off.
At this ceremony, they said if the kids did anything like attention grabbing or other than just receive it, they wouldn't get their diploma.
Yeah.
So one guy goes up there. I'll do a reenactment.
I bet.
He did. That's what I thought. I thought it was an empty threat, right?
Yeah. Oh my God! You're gonna take my diploma away? Are you? Am I gonna contact the state? Am I gonna contact the state?
Listen, they did.
They don't have to.
They did. A kid got up there. He did finger guns, pow pow pow, and then a 360. Woohoo! And
It was at Michael Scott.
and he didn't get his diploma. Like, apparently, all he has to do is like show up to like a second thing, meet with the principal. They're gonna discuss the event. And then they'll give him his diploma.
I've heard this happening before. It's legit. They like don't give you a diploma. And I've always wondered, like, this sounds a lot to me like when schools take your cell phone and all it takes is your dad to go up there and be like, are you fucking stupid? You just stole from me. Give me the cell phone or I'm going to call the police right fucking now, thief. Mm-hmm. You're a thief, Mr. Principal. Give me maybe I'll just shoot you, thief. Like, you end that right then and there. I don't like thieves.
There was always a 0% chance my dad was gonna. Anytime there was a problem with taking my phone or like getting me in trouble at school, it was always like almost like calling home, being like, "Yeah, Mom, like, what's Dad's number at work? Because I need to call and talk to him about this." Because you know how moms get, like, they'll get called in and be like, "Oh, well, they were just really worried about your safety. They thought you were gonna shoot somebody's eye out with that pen gun that you'd made." And it was like, not a real, like, it was a gun that shoots pens, not
you use a ballpoint pen, you take it apart. I know the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. But there was nothing more satisfying than hearing the times, like, from home, where my dad would like call, Dr. Stevens or whoever the fuck the main guy at the school was, and like have to say like, so you took my son out of class because he was joking around in gym. He was joking around in gym and you took him out of history. Is that what you did? You did. So you think it was, so he goofs off and you take him out of class. Is that what I should be telling my son? That if he goofs off, he gets out of class? No, I didn't think so either. Exactly right. And if you call me at work again, I'm going to be furious. I pay for this school. And it was always like, oh, yeah, this is a private school. We got your fucking number, bitch. We got your number. You can't do shit to me. Because it would be like, oh, yeah, Taylor's going to be missing school again. Well, actually, that's the 9th day this semester. Oh, yeah, is this a public? No, it's not. It's not, is it? All right, you can go ahead and eat shit. Yeah, all right, eat shit. Oh, I loved that.
That was not.
And then all my friends at public school would be like, "Oh, I missed my 7th day, and now I can't miss anything else. The government won't let me graduate." It's like, oh, that sucks. Should have had your parents send you to religious indoctrination camp.
And you can tell stories.
I think I would have preferred that. I definitely would have liked a religious indoctrination camp over public high school or public school in general. I think so. I had so many issues with teachers. Like that just. I had a teacher in 4th grade that just totally had it out for me. I was doing stuff, I'll admit, but like stuff that like 4th grade boys do. Like I remember I pissed once in the bathroom in the urinal. Like
I'm feeling
not everyone did. I flushed the urinal with my foot. I flushed it like that. Someone told on me, some cunt. By the way, these are the guys who like would run around and just piss in the floor like firemen. And my parents had to come to the school because of that, because I flushed the toilet with my foot.
That's bad.
I'm 30 fucking 1 years old. I still flush toilets with my foot if I flush them at all.
You know what's the worst? When I played hockey in like a men's league, and people would flush the toilet with their skate, right? And I'm like, what? They're busting up toilets. You have to understand, a skate is heavy. It has some mass to it because it needs to protect your foot from the puck. It hits it all the time. And something about it, like you don't have sensitivity. Like if you're wearing a boat shoe, you know exactly how hard you're flushing. If you wear this clodhopper of a skate, people kick the handle off. And now you can't flush.
You're 100% right. Go into any hockey locker room and walk into the bathroom area and try and find all the toilets intact. You will not. Because someone did exactly what Woody said, where they go, all right, let's flush that, and they go, bang, and they kick it with their fucking 3-pound razor blade on their foot, and they break it, and then they have to, like, quickly duck walk back into the locker room, like, haha, that's not flooding, let's, all right, head out to the ice, guys, so we can come back and pretend this is a surprise in an hour. Oh, my God, who could have ruined everyone's equipment? Speaking of
all the time.
Stanley Cup. All over.
I'm baffled, really. I don't understand how a player with such an team with such an underperforming player could do so well. How can Sidney Crosby have 2 cups in a row?
Not even that. Also 2 Conn Smythe trophies, which they give to the most valuable player throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs.
You know what? I have an answer to that. Obama has a Nobel Peace Prize. He killed like 26,000 people.
They gave him that shit right out of the gate.
At one point, he was in 3 wars at once.
No, this
he had Iraq, Afghanistan, and I think Syria all cooking at the same time.
This would be like if at the beginning of next season they're like, and the 2018 Conn Smythe winner, Sidney Crosby. Like, no, but he didn't even make the playoffs yet. He'll make it. He'll be fine. He's made a lot of promises.
So that trophy, I don't put much weight in that. But I don't understand how he's getting the cups. I wonder how well that team would do if I was on it. Right? It's hypothetically, right? How many players are on a professional hockey team? Are there 30?
23 or something, maybe.
23. Yeah,
they could have won. They won Stanley Cup with you on there.
Yeah, like I mean, what if I was their backup goaltender? Did their backup goaltender even play? Because I could not play. I'm good.
Yeah, that would have. Fleury played from the first 2 rounds and played out of his mind, good, and then he got a little hurt, I believe, and then Murray stepped in and played incredibly too, and he's only I think 20 years old. This Matt Murray motherfucker plays for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Mm-hmm. He's a goalie as well, and so I have like a lot of jealousy towards him. To where he jumped in. So basically, his career started. He played for the Pittsburgh Penguins last year, not during the regular season. It was just during the playoffs. And Fleury, their other goalie, got injured, and so they go, Murray, we need you to come in. You've never played in the NHL before, but we think that you're going to do okay playing in the playoffs to start. And he's like, all right, I guess so. He's like a 6'4", 6'5", gangly goal, like that's usually goalies are usually taller, and he goes out there, kills it, plays retardedly good the entire playoffs, and wins the Stanley Cup. Plays his rookie season this year, first year in the NHL regular season, and then wins another Stanley Cup. So he's the first player ever to have won 2 Stanley Cups by the end of his rookie season.
Wow, that's impressive. What a
Not fair.
what a great way to start your adult life, right? Like that guy is totally gonna get a heroin addiction or like pain pills. like he's gonna like his hands are gonna get broken really badly, and he's just gonna be on the pain pills. So he trying to get that edge back, but he just doesn't have the grip or the touch anymore, and he's just gonna fucking melt. Just go down that real spiraling.
This is where it gets depressing.
Playing good, and he's a goalie.
So I like you're looking at this guy and you're like, oh, you know, this is like hypothetical Taylor in Dream Life, right? For me, that guy was Eric Lindros. Eric Lindros is within like 1 day of my age, like we were born. He's February 18th or 20th or something, and now Eric Lindros is like barely remembered. That's my peer group, you know. Yeah. Like, fuck.
He would have been remembered more, but.
Yeah, if he had stayed healthy. If people don't know, Eric Lindros was a star. I think he won the Hart Trophy, which is like the MVP for hockey. And but
it was Scott Stevens that ruined him, right?
Yeah, Scott Stevens was the coup de grace, but he just threw his body at everyone his whole career. What he was a talented hockey player, not afraid to get in fights and not afraid to finish checks. And it turns out that's really rough on your body. And he was like a NFL running back. Like, oh, he's amazing. 3 years later, he's broken.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes, where they just...
Have you seen the new Adidas jerseys?
No.
I guess all the NHL teams have new Adidas hockey
I need
jerseys.
to look at them and see.
Yeah,
this hit was so bad on Lindros from Stevens, they call it an incident.
If it was a matter, Comey wouldn't be investigated.
Yeah, I was about to say, if it became the matter in question, we'd have to get together some senators.
It happened about like 6 seconds in there.
I looked at the Blues jerseys the other night. If I remember, they're not very attractive. It's this,
I love the Blues jerseys.
Sort of a dark grayish blue kind of.
The new NHL jerseys. Let's see.
Yeah.
I liked the light blue Blues jerseys from this year.
They looked really dark when I looked at it.
I don't like that as much because I like the lighter color some.
Yeah.
I mean, I just really fucking hope that they get rid of some of the teams with just awful.
Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final on Sunday night. The Nashville.
What the fuck?
Who was that? Wasn't me, was it?
Yeah, something happened on your end, Taylor, where your microphone seems to be muted or at least crushed right now, and it started playing that audio from the Stanley Cup video that you're watching.
I don't even have... Am I back?
Somewhat, but it's still...
That's just about 1 hour. This might be a good time. PKN episode 148. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Have a good night.
Fix my driveway, bitch!